Hey Trent, so I just sent you a meeting.
Great job, man. What's the prospect interested in?
Well, they didn't really agree, so I just told them I'd send them a tentative invite.
Gotcha. Keep me posted.
So, Trent, are you gonna qualify the meeting or?
Well, they have no budget, timeline, or pain.
Yeah, so I kind of need this meeting to get a paid and stuff. I don't know.
Sorry, man. My manager will not be pleased if I qualify this meeting without ban.
I'm never setting this guy a meeting again.
This trash SDR, man. All he does is waste everyone's time.
Well, thanks anyway. Let's get the next one.
Godspeed.
I hope you guys enjoyed that 30,000 foot view of the conversation between the SDR and the AE. Super pathetic, am I right? No, I'm just kidding. I've been on both sides of that equation as an SDR for the past 2 years, making 37,000 cold calls. I recently promoted to an account executive, so I'm trying to help out my SDRs where I can. I'm Trent, and we talk everything sales on this channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe below and like the video. It really helps, and we don't want you to miss out on any future content. Appreciate the support. In this video, we're gonna talk about how you can maximize your relationship between the SDR and AE to get the most out of one another, how you can strategically leverage one another to get into key accounts, and ultimately how you can build that relationship to make sure you're getting the most out of one another and you're furthering one another's success. Let's get into it. Point number one, guys, how can you maximize the relationship if you're an SDR with your AE or if you're an AE with your SDR? I think this is super important and something I'm really excited to talk to you guys about. I think I'm uniquely qualified to do so. Being an SDR for the last 2 years, working with dozens of account executives, many that I got along great with and many that I do not want to work with again. And there's a wide variety of reasons as to why that's the case. I'm sure you guys have experienced it yourself in your own job, but I'm going to talk to you guys about how to maximize the relationship. And there's all sorts of different tactical information, how you can get the most out of one another, attack accounts, etc., etc. But I really think the relationship is the most important piece to getting the most out of one another. Understand the incentive structure and how the other person is motivated and compensated. As salespeople, we are doing it because of course we want to help the customers, but the better we can help the customer, the more that's going to align with our economic interest. So we act out of our own selfish economic interest most of the time. So you want to understand how your counterpart, whether it's your SDR or whether it's your AE, is economically incentivized. How are they compensated? What do their actions need to lead to for them to get paid? As an AE, we need to close business. As an SDR, you need to source quality pipeline. So figure out what is most important to the other person. Do they just want to blow out and maximize and close a lot this quarter? Do they want to try and promote in 2 quarters? What does that other person want? You'd be surprised how many times when I'm talking with an SDR or as an SDR talking with my account executive that they never ask me, hey Trent, why are you doing this? What do you want? That's something I always try and make sure I understand when I'm talking to someone else. I try and understand, what do they want? Why are they working towards what they want? Is it just to get paid? Is it career progression? Is it recognition? Because the better I can understand what that other person wants and make them successful quicker and sooner rather than later, the more so they're going to want to help me and the more so success that's going to come to me. So point number one to maximize the relationship with guys, understand how the other person is compensated, and you can use those motivations to help further their success, which is going to further your success. I think many of us being in sales instinctively understand the importance of having that relationship with our SDR or AE. Tactically, how do we break into top accounts with one another and work more strategically together, that tandem between SDR and AE? I've found that when you have that strong relationship, of course, you're going to work better together and have better chemistry. But how do you start to enhance one another and elevate one another so you each become more successful? I think it boils down to, of course, skill is a big thing, but communication and trust. These are a lot of intangibles that we're talking about in this video. There's a lot of strategy you can go into, break down accounts by tiers and say, hey, you call these, I'll call these, etc., etc. All that's important, but I really think these intangibles are more important, and it's a relationship. And then the deep root of that is communication and trust. In my opinion, the best practice is to have a weekly sync with your SDR and AE. Set up a weekly call. Typically on those weekly calls, for the first couple minutes, I'm not there to waste time, but I want to understand, how is that other person doing? How is their week going? How's their day going? How can I continue to build that relationship in an authentic way? Talk about sports, talk about whatever you want to talk about. It doesn't matter. Just get to know that person, talk about what they're interested in. Hopefully you're naturally interested in that, and that's going to further the relationship. Where I've seen trust break down is, as an account executive, I have a finite amount of great accounts. So if I don't feel like my SDR is competent enough to get in the account, or if I feel like they're gonna send bad messaging that's gonna burn a bridge, that's gonna result in a lack of trust. And also, if my SDR isn't producing meetings, that's also gonna breach my trust of me not feeling like they're working towards a common objective. And that's where I've seen a lot of AEs break down communication with SDRs. When I put on my SDR cap and think about how to help the account executive, I wanna make sure that my account executive knows that I'm trying. So it's important on top of that weekly meeting to send them reminders, to send them communications throughout the week. Send messages of saying, hey, I spoke with XYZ and XYZ account. This is what we heard. We didn't get the meeting, but this is what's happening. Hey, I noticed that this activity happened in this one of your accounts. Hey, you wanna take a look at that. As an SDR, you wanna make sure your account executive is aware of your efforts, positively or negatively. And you wanna make sure you're actually making efforts, because that's gonna then further that relationship and build trust. As an account executive, putting that hat back on, I want my SDR to trust me, so I'm gonna enable them by giving them warm leads, by giving them good accounts, by giving them strategic information and delegating, so I can take some prospecting off my plate and hopefully make that SDR more confident. The constant communication, over communicating is really important. I've seen a lot of trust breakdown from there. I think my second point here is, as an account executive, I'm not reliant on my SDR. If my SDR doesn't send me meetings, that's fine. I'm going to hunt and kill on my own. I don't need an SDR for that. I don't need an SDR to be successful. But I want my SDR to know that I'm invested in their success, and I'm gonna do anything I can to make them more successful. And anything they source me is gonna be gravy on top of what I'm already doing. So I approach the relationship with, how can I help you mentality? How can I help you get into your next role? How can I help you be more successful? And by default, I hope that they'll wanna reciprocate and help me. So I think those are a couple of the different areas I think about when it comes down to improving communication and trust and building that relationship. A whole video series could be created around best practices between SDR and AE. So for those of you in sales, especially software sales, and that are watching right now, I'd love for you to jump in the comments below and talk about any points you agree with or disagree with from what you've heard today, or any thoughts you have on best practices that you've seen. I think it's really important to call those out so other people can see that. Or if you have any questions, because I know a lot of people may be thinking something, they don't necessarily want to express it. If you're thinking it, most likely someone else is thinking it as well. I hope you guys found value out of this video today. Would really appreciate if you could leave a comment, hit that like button, subscribe below. It would be a big help to the channel. As always, guys, go out, reach out to your AE, reach out to your SDR this week. Make sure they know that you're grateful for their help and support. Get better this week, guys. Thanks again for watching. Bye.